is a very, very good day. And Taiwo, I thank you for accepting to serve your country, your motherland. You have written the entire tax policy of this country, that it was obsolete, archaic, and fundamentally against every progressive thinker. You are just a very dedicated and highly determined individual. It didn't take much for me to decide where you fit and where you need to be to further help the country. It is a very challenging job to look at the fiscal policy and responsibility that comes with it at the time that economic stability is being experienced, but without exponential growth. It is always very difficult, but you feed the bill. Thank you, I congratulate you. I congratulate your wife for being able to stand our challenge of time management and absence, for a long hour. This is additional responsibility, and I hope you continue to encourage him and support him adequately. Thank you very, very much.
I think they say the reward for doing a good job is more work. And I think it's always a privilege to have the opportunity to serve your country, especially at the highest level. But it's even more fascinating at this critical juncture for our country. So I do not take the trust for granted. So I'm grateful to Mr. President, but also very grateful to the generality of the Nigerian people, particularly stakeholders that have been very supportive of the work we've done to date. But they say reforms are only as good as the paper on which they are written. What is really important is the diligent execution. And this is part of it, to move from policy formulation to execution. So we're very excited and looking forward to the challenges ahead. Yeah, so the priorities are the priorities of the government, the priorities for our country, because the Ministry of Finance will not operate in isolation. And those issues are mostly around revenue mobilization, so you can have enough revenue to meet the increasing demands of the public on the treasury, both at the federal level as well as sub-national. And then there's also the issue around spending efficiency and priority. Because for every ₦1 that we earn, how can we optimize the value we get from it to meet the needs of our people? And of course, issues around debt management and fiscal sustainability is also important. Now, how all of these connect effectively and link up to other policies of government, from monetary policy to trade and other policies as well, across sub-national, and also within the context of the international community, because we don't live in isolation and we know what's happening now with geopolitics and crisis, is actually about how do you think proactively and say, how do we position Nigeria to best manage challenges and headwinds while optimizing the values and the opportunities that are there both within Nigeria and globally for our country.
Let me first of all thank Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for this appointment, for considering one of the best in the now, not just in Ondo State, but in Nigeria, that has just been appointed as Minister of State for Finance. He's not new, really. to the tax ahead, because having led about 100 Nigerians to review the fiscal and tax regime of this nation, which has been enacted into law at this time, and for him to have been appointed for the execution of the same reform, I think Mr. President have done the right thing. So we want to thank him for considering this job, and not because he's from Ondo State, but because he merits the job and he deserved to be appointed. So, but we thank Mr. President because it's still his prerogative. He's not the only one in Nigeria that can do this job, but for considering us in Ondo State. Now we have 3 substantive ministers. Thanks to Mr. President.